your penalty kill had been so good for such a big portion of the season. Recently, the stats haven't been quite as good. Do you just chalk that up to the natural ebbs and flows of the season, or are there specific things you'd like to kind of get back to that you were doing earlier this year?
No, there's specific things that I think we've got away from that's brought us success. Things like winning face-offs, getting 200-foot clears, limiting zone entries. When you think about those three things, when you win face-offs and you get clears, a lot of times you force our opponent's power plays to have to expend energy and time to gain access to our zone again. If you make the entry difficult, then it makes it exponentially more difficult. You limit zone time. And I don't think we've done a good enough job in those areas, and as a result, I think teams are getting more zone time. And that puts extra burden on our penalty killers to have to execute our kill in zone. And sometimes great players make great plays, and when you give them lots of opportunity with zone time, it puts a heavy burden of responsibility on the killers. So those are just some areas that we've spoken about that we have to work to get better at. I thought we were really good at it for an extended period of time throughout the course of the season. I think those are three specific areas where I know we can improve.
Matt?
Casper Bjorkquist is back. I'm just curious why he was the one who got the call up, and what does he need to do to build on what he did here a few weeks ago?
Well, we're trying to manage the group that we have. We're also trying to keep them all playing, and that's an important aspect of it. A guy like Drew O'Connor, for example, has been off for an extended period of time. We felt it's important that he gets in some games. The same thing with Big Z. It's important that he gets in some games. There's a number of players down there that have played extremely well. And these are never easy decisions. We rely a lot on J.D. Forrest and his staff down there with their feedback on who's playing well and who might be deserving of the opportunity. We also have the big picture in mind in trying to keep everybody playing and continuing to develop their respective games. So there's multiple, I think, reasons for the decisions on why certain players get called up. At the end of the day, the most important one is if that player were to go in the lineup, who's going to give us the best chance to win? And given the role that we foresee him to, when we do put him in the lineup. In other words, what lines is he going to play on? Is he going to kill penalties and things of that nature, right? So that weighs into it as well. So there's multiple, I think, conversations that we have around these types of decisions.
A few more, Davey?
Mike, how much of a factor has Bluger's absence been in the issues that the penalty kill has had?
I don't think there's any question he helps us in all of those areas, and he's been one of our better penalty killers. So he's not an easy guy to replace in that regard, but we have guys that are capable, and guys are getting opportunities that otherwise may not, and so we need to maximize those opportunities, and so that's how we all have to look at it. We have very capable people, and we just have to pay attention to the details. We need a certain level of commitment that's required to be good in those areas.